All right, everybody, welcome to the Backseat Huddle podcast, episode 73. Today is Friday, which means today is predictions day. Last week, I slowed down a little bit after being on a fucking heater. Last week, I was 8-6, which isn't great, but that brings me to 28-15 on the season, so I'm still doing pretty damn good. This week, I have 3 breakdowns, and I have little comments for the rest of the games, but I'm predicting every single game this week. So let's go ahead and get into it, and enough with the chatter. Cowboys versus Chargers. Cowboys are about to go on their first losing streak of the season. Why? Because fuck them. That's why. For the second straight week, the Dallas Cowboys are going into the game with the inferior quarterback. And this time, the gap is significantly larger than it was last week. Good for the Cowboys is that the Chargers roster isn't anywhere near what the 49ers is, so the game should be significantly closer. That all being said, the Cowboys officially got exposed this week as a team that's only able to win one way. They have to play with the lead. But is any lead actually safe with Justin Herbert on the other side? Probably not. But the Cowboys, I officially don't trust Dak anymore. I thought last season where he threw a bunch of picks was a bit of an anomaly, which for his career, it kind of was. Combine that with the fact that he threw 3 interceptions last week, getting a little bit turnover prone. We have some evidence that's probably what he is. And then add on to that, in this game against the Chargers, they're playing against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Pass. Chargers win a higher scoring game, 31-28. Lions versus Buccaneers. 2 of the worst historical franchises in the NFL are facing off this week as soon-to-be playoff teams. Go fucking figure. I find myself going really back and forth on this game because each team has some favorable matchups. Buccaneers have the better pass rush. Lions have the better offensive line. Buccaneers have the better wide receivers. Oh, it's actually pretty close. Lions have the better running game. Buccaneers have the better overall defense. Lions have the better overall offense. Buccaneers have the better defensive coach. Lions have the better offensive coach. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That makes this game a challenge to pick, but my lean is Detroit for 2 main reasons. Number one, at some point, the Buccaneers' lack of a running game is going to come back to bite them in the ass. They stink at running the ball, but they at least deserve credit for sticking to it, unlike that team in Orchard Park. They stick to it. They make a concerted effort to do it no matter what. Second, the Lions do have the better quarterback. It feels close-ish as long as Baker Mayfield keeps the ball out of harm's way, but I think we could all agree that Jared Goff is the better quarterback of these two, and he is more proven. This game feels like it's going to boil down to the matchup between Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles, who calls plays defensively, and Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, who obviously calls the plays for the Lions offense. Whoever wins that battle is likely going to win this game. Both of those two are wizards in their own right, and as such, this game is very challenging for me to pick. However, the Lions feel like the better overall team, and I hate saying that because I like to have a little bit more of a foundation, but I'm going to pick the Lions 27-21. Bengals versus Seahawks. Did you know that Joe Burrow has a career record of 12-15-1 in September and October? He has a losing record early in the season. Why? Probably because he's always fucking hurt at the beginning of every season. This is a recurring theme for the Bengals. They aren't good early. They start to shape up toward the middle. And then by the end of the season, they're back to being the elite Bengals that we think that they are. The only difference so far this season is they've looked really fucking bad. So are they back? Fuck yeah, they're back. And they're about to walk into a potential shootout with the Seahawks because the Seahawks defense is bad. They've given up 27 points or more in 3 out of their 4 games this season. The only game they didn't give up a bunch of points was when they played the fucking bullshit New York Giants and Daniel Jones. The Bengals offensive line, which is always a worry, should be okay in this game, weirdly enough, because the Seahawks don't have any dominant pass rushers. They're 7th in overall sacks this season, but no one on their team has more than 2. And one of their guys with 2 is a rookie corner. You don't have anyone on your team that can get more sacks than a corner? Really? That's not good. Speaking of corners, how are these corners, Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, going to match up against a T. Higginless, most likely, Bengals squad? You'd have to think favorably, but we've seen great quarterbacks elevate wide receivers for years. And we saw Trenton Irwin, I think, look good last week against the Cardinals. As such, I really like the Bengals the more I look at it. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati, partially because they're at home 31-24. Colts versus Jaguars. Be ready for the Colts to start slow in this game. They've spent the last 2 weeks in London where there's a 5-hour time difference, and they're coming off of a big win. They're going to be sluggish in the first half. That said, they're the much better team in this matchup, and they're turning the corner into an AFC elite. I'm taking the Jaguars 24-20. Ravens versus Titans. Fuck the Titans. I pick against them every week because they're so fucking boring. Ravens 24-14. Dolphins versus Panthers. Each of these teams should walk into their second blowout in a row. Dolphins blowout win, Panthers blowout loss. Dolphins 35-20. Commanders versus Falcons. 2 up-and-coming quarterbacks who I don't really trust facing off this week in Atlanta. And Desmond Ridder loses his first game at home as a pro or collegiate quarterback. Commanders bounce back from their embarrassing loss against the Bears, 24-17 Commanders. Saints versus Texans. Texans are scoring 21 points per game or less against teams that are not the Jaguars. That offense doesn't score a lot of points as good as CJ Stroud looks. Saints are the better roster at this point, so they seem like the easy pick. I'm going to go with Saints 27-17. Vikings versus Bears. I really want to pick the Bears because they've got some momentum, but it just doesn't feel good to pick them. But Justin Jefferson being out feels like it changes the complexion of this game entirely. So I am going to pick the Bears and probably regret it, 24-21. 49ers versus Browns. This game could get ugly. This is going to be another 49ers easy win. I'm picking 49ers 34-17. Patriots versus Raiders. Is there a more boring game on the schedule this week than this one? No, I'm just going to tell you. No, there's not. I want to pick the Patriots, but I'm never picking them again. They look fucking terrible. But because I picked them, they're going to have a surprise win this week. But I'm going to pick the Raiders 22-17. Cardinals versus Rams. Rams right the ship. Get back on the winning track. I don't believe in Arizona at all. Give me the Rams 27-21. Eagles versus Jets. I cannot make any case for the Jets to win this game. It's been fun to meme around about Zach Wilson-led Jets and how they're winning and this and that. But the Jets just, everything they do well, the Eagles just do better. I just cannot make a case for the Jets to win this game. So I think the Eagles win this one fairly easily. Eagles 30-20. And lastly, Bills versus Giants. Let's not fucking talk about this blowout. This is going to be an ugly one. Bills win 38-17. So that's it, you guys. That's my show. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Take care, everybody.